Hello and welcome to another episode of Diaries of Badass Bosses. I'm Tigz Rice.
And I'm Penny Joyner-Platt.
And we have another duo episode lined up for you today.
Just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know how that became a song break.
Well, we can't really say two because we've got Connor in the background. So.
Just the
True,
three
and
of us.
no singing, we'll get a copyright strike.
Stop singing. No more.
How are you?
Oh, I'm really good, darling. Yeah, how are you doing?
Yeah, really good. Yeah, it's nice being here today. I'm so excited about today's topic, actually, because we are talking about priorities.
Ooh, okay. Not just any priorities.
All priorities, no, but specifically priorities in business.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, because I think it's one of those things that we are constantly dealing with as business owners. What's important, what's not important, what matters to us, what, everything, priorities of other people that might impede on our day as well. So many things that we're having to deal with and make decisions as business owners. So I thought, bring it to the table. Let's have a little chat about it. So how's the balancing act going for you right now? Because you juggle so many priorities. You've got business hat, you've got mum hat, and there's so many different sides of your business as well. You've got PR, the brand strategy, coaching. How does that work for you in a weekly basis?
So I think in a way it's a little bit about the length of time and the learning that I've done so far, and you just keep learning. So you just keep evolving the business, you keep evolving the way you work, and putting things in place that are going to help support you so that you can then prioritize. So interestingly, something I do with all of my coaching clients, which I also did with you, Tigz, recently, which is the work-life pie.
Oh,
so
it's such a good one.
Basically, what I do is I ask people to analyze over the last 12 months, look at the hours they spend, the time they spend on all different aspects of not just their business, but aspects of their life. So what I want them to do is break it down into where they spend the time on the business itself, where they spend time with clients, where they spend time on marketing, social media, and then also where they then get to spend time with family, they get leisure time, me time, like all of that. So
Health.
they literally, health, well-being, all of that. Put it into one pie chart of like, okay, this is what it is averaging out at as where I spend my time. And the thing that always happens, like literally every single time that I work with a coaching client, is they're always quite shocked when they do it. In that first time they do it for the first time ever, is, wow, I didn't realize I was spending so much time on X. Or I always thought I spent more time on this, and then actually it's come out that it's this. So it gets them to really look at it specifically and evaluate where they are right now. And then I ask them, right, what I now want you to do is create a life pie chart, work life, that is the next 12 months. Where do you want it to be? So where it currently is, where do you want it to be in 12 months? And then we go through the process of how do we get to that point? Because that's what I see as the happy place. Because you're putting that work-life pie in place for the next 12 months to say, this is where I need to be. This is where I do need to be spending more time, and it could be based, if it's business specific, it can be based on, I need to be spending more time in this area of my business because it earns the most money and doesn't take as much time. So I'd like to spend more time on that initially because in the long run, I'm going to get to my happy place. Or I want to spend less time on marketing. Why am I spending so much time on social media? Why am I spending, so we then analyze that and we drill it down and say, right, what's not serving us?
Yeah.
And we just really unpick and put together a strategy over the next 12 months, allows people to reach that happy place. So for me, that's something that I've always done, is kind of like keep analyzing where I'm spending my time. And ultimately, like the kids are priority. And it's been, they are that younger age. They're now getting into that Freddie's now at school.
Yeah.
Ollie, my gosh, Ollie, my little baby, he's going to actually be starting nursery alongside. So he's already in nursery, but I mean, in terms of he's at the nursery, he's going to start that in the school where Freddie is, which straight away, I have just got back in my life probably about an hour and a half of travel time.
Yeah, because that's going to make such a difference to your morning.
That just claimed back an hour and a half of their lives every day that they take their kids to a school or to a nursery. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be used in other ways. I'll be going to kids club or whatever.
You'll be booking that spa treatment.
That spa trip will be on the cards. Thanks, Abby. But it's like, wow, okay, like where am I now going to put that time?
Yeah.
Now I've claimed that back somewhat, So all of those things. So for me, kids have always kind of been the priority, but now I'm able to shift. From a work point of view, it's been about what makes me happy.
Yeah.
I've really evolved the business recently, and it really does make me happy. But it's taken a lot. I don't think it's easy to shed things or offers or services that you do that maybe you've done for a long time, or maybe you thought were the right thing. But it's okay. Like if it's not working, if it's not serving you, and it's amazing actually, since I've kind of really drilled down to what I want to offer, and got rid of certain things. The weight that has lifted, I've got
a little skip in your step when you're walking around.
There's like a hop and a skip. But it's just amazing that I feel like people need to analyse this on a regular basis. So if it is just you and you don't have a coach, you don't have someone accountable, you don't have a bestie in work, or that somebody that you're constantly kind of driving it and you have to do it yourself, you have to then set yourself that each month I'm going to analyse where I'm spending my time. So really long-winded answer to your question.
A very good answer, though. Because we did my work life, well, we both did it when we sat down and had our bestie, somewhat Christmas, end of year, joint business birthday, celebration of all of our small wins and big wins together. It was so handy to look through that as well, because there are things that you might go through that conversation and say, like with yours, it was, these parts of my business I enjoy more, or these parts maybe it's time to let go of them. And for me, there was a huge shift when I was like, I can't be a boudoir photographer over here and a branding photographer over here and have a rebrand and bring it all together and, stop trying to serve these communities separately and just accept what's important to me, which is the overall goal of empowerment. Like big shifts. And I think it's so important to lean into those and be like, you know what, this is the thing that's making me happy. This is the thing that's bringing me money. This is the thing that is driving me towards where I see myself in 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, however far you plan. One of the tools that I use is the urgent important square. So you literally have for those of you watching, here's me doing my little cross. You have urgent, important, not important, important, urgent, and then not important, not urgent.
Yeah.
Because I will admit sometimes that there are things that I think are priorities that actually they're probably not. I'm probably procrastinating on them. So it's knowing what is urgent, what is important, what's going to make the biggest difference the quickest, rather than going, let me do that not important, not urgent thing and put it off. So yeah, that's one that I use really, really often. Like, do you have anything that you procrastinate on that you're like, that actually probably isn't as important? Or do you go through and you're sifting those out?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. Do you know what? I think my biggest thing is it's client hours of like the amount of stuff that it's kind of the over servicing, the amount of hours of like phone calls, meetings, that I think takes up a hell of a lot of time, like per day. But then part of me is like, that's what people buy into, because that's exactly the reason they work with me. So when it comes to the time left beyond that, for me, I kind of just, maybe some things are kind of put on the back burner, which usually is my own business and PRing myself. Yeah. So, I should practice what I preach. And then sometimes, things are left to the last minute of like, which I hate doing. I don't like doing that lastminute.com stuff. But, you know, if I have to work through the night to put a presentation together on something that I'm talking about, it's not the ideal scenario. But yeah, so I probably put myself in the non-urgent category when maybe actually that's not good. So I would say that that's probably the critique on myself, is that when I'm representing my business, actually it should be in a more of an urgent position and priority than it currently is. I
can totally like reflect on that as well, because it was actually, for those of you who are long-term listeners of the podcast, it was when you set me that accountability goal of gonna have to get this website done. So it was every Friday, wasn't it? We were going through, and at that point, I think I, again, equally at that point had been not necessarily at the top of, like, working on my business had not been the goal. It'd been working on client stuff and working in the business. And it made such a difference to have that, you know, even if it was half a day on a Friday, to have 3 or 4 hours to go, right, let's get the website done. Let's build this page. Let's get that bit of coding done. And like so much, a 54-page website basically got built in about 10 weeks, give or take a few pages. There are still some definitely to come. And actually, we've put that in place for you, haven't we, coming up? So you've got some accountability things on your list as well.
There's definitely a lot that now, as I say, because the business has evolved, I've now got to change up my website to reflect that. So I've asked the lovely Tigz to be my accountability coach and kick my arse in gear, basically.
Yeah, we have not set a forfeit at the end.
Well, no, that's because I've not promised anything for a very long time and then not delivered. So we can take it at this point, and Connor, you can register the date on this, that I am now saying that I will be updating the website. But then if we're still talking about it in 6 months' time, then you can set a forfeit. Yeah?
I feel like actually, it's for it to be completely fair, I think you get a year before I get to ride you on this one.
Well, no, because it's not like I'm building a whole new website. So I'm going to say 6 months because I'm just updating mine. So
you say that, but you are also building...
Oh, yes.
You are building a brand new website, because Diaries of Badass Bosses is getting...
We're getting our own website. Yeah, very exciting.
So there is some building.
Yeah. So I've got a lot on my plate. Gosh.
And there was me worrying about one. There's 2.
Oh, God. Yeah, I know. God. What have I set myself up for?
I've run out of things on this list.
Well, I was just going to say to you, what is it that you're going to be now prioritising for you for this year?
Well, do you know, there's a lot of, there's so many things popping up this year. I've got a few things that I can't talk about yet, that there's some very interesting business side quests that are happening. Real. And we were talking this week about the fact that also I've booked a rather nice travel trip that's coming up in the future.
Yep, love a bit of travel.
Japan is back on the list.
Woo-hoo!
So excited. So there's that. And also video. Which Connor, the lovely Connor, has been helping me with.
I wouldn't say helping. You've been smashing it.
Aww.
Now I feel like I've got another accountability goal.
Oh, yeah. We just set that a date for that now.
Yeah, we might actually need to set one of them, because I've got a lot of video editing on my list to actually do. The files look great, but they need to be compiled into something. Video
editing lists are never fun.
No, I've got so much. My next step is learning how to apply a LUT. So, I know.
Colour grade and chill.
Colour grade and chill, is that a thing?
That's a Spotify playlist that I am subscribed to, called Colour grade and chill.
Okay, so for any listeners and watchers out there that's scratching their head, I'm with you.
So there's loads of stuff, but actually the subject of priorities has come up specifically today because I guess I've got a little announcement to make as well, which is that because there is so much going on this year in a few of the things that will come out sort of, you know, in terms of projects that I've been invited to work on, being around on a weekly basis for the podcast is going to be proving quite difficult this year. And as gutted as I am to say this, it's my time to step down as co-host. And I'm gutted. I'm so gutted because this honestly is such a highlight. We have so much fun on this. But yeah, it's time to let you fly solo, babe.
She's leaving me on my own. Oh no, I mean it is bittersweet.
Yeah.
I know that it's like for all good purposes for you to fly and focus on other aspects of your business and what you're going to achieve, and I know you're going to smash it. That's not to say you're disappearing forever. Please, for everyone out there that's just gone, what?
I know, she's still my work wifey, total bestie.
Yeah.
Everything's great. It's just, at the moment.
She will be back as a guest, I'm sure, on a regular basis, especially if I have any tech guests, because, I mean, between myself and I mean, otherwise Connor's going to have to come on the screen a bit more, mate.
I can do that if I've got makeup on and I've done my hair.
Love that.
I'm going to get you some pink lippy.
Only on Saturdays.
But no, I honestly, I've just loved doing this journey with you so far today. But it's certainly not the end. It's certainly, Diaries of Badass Bosses is continuing.
Yes. And there are things to talk about because, it's also been the perfect timing because there is major elevation happening for Diaries of Badass Bosses. There is a website coming and new venue.
Yes. I'm inviting you all into my home. Oh, yes. So literally the next episode of Diaries of Badass Bosses is going to be shot in the Joyner-Platt household.
With a fancy new sofa.
With a brand new sofa. I mean, I want to say bought especially for the podcast. It was kind of a really good excuse to get my husband to do this. Because I've been asking for a new sofa for a very long time now because my poor little Freddie did spill coffee all over it. Not his fault. I tried to wash the covers and then shrunk them.
Yes.
So it's had a blanket just kind of thrown over it for... I don't even want to say how long, but a very long time. So it's quite pitiful. But finally, we're getting a new sofa. Comes next week. So thanks.
So there's a fancy new home.
It's going to be delightful. I'm throwing the kids out, throwing the husband out.
Not for
every
good.
week.
Just to clarify.
Just purely for the podcast. But throwing them out so Connor and I can take over. And we'll be in the comfort of my own home, which I think will be really nice.
It's going to be so the cozy vibes, the intimacy of the chats that you can have as well. Sort of, I think it's going to be amazing. I'm going to be tuning in.
Yeah.
Be like, oh my God, I'm going to have such FOMO.
Yeah. She's going to be on the phone while I'm trying to record the podcast.
We do. What are you saying?
I'm like, get off.
Well, on my podcast recording desk, you can actually call in. You can
Don't tell her that.
Yeah, you can connect a phone to it and you can do live call-ins.
Oh, she's going to be on the phone. She's going to be jiving me what are you saying? Another blooper.
We've got a caller on the line. Hello.
Literally, we can do that. It can be done.
Oh, gosh, God. Well, that looks like I'm not going to be able to get rid of you ever then.
No, I'm still around. And,
squatters' rights.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm going to claim them.
Oh my gosh. Well, look, we do have the exciting thing is we are going to be going a bit more international as well. So we are going to have guests from beyond the pond. So literally beyond the UK, we're going to start looking at businesses across the globe, what differences, to being an entrepreneur, in different countries, what that means, how different is it, or is it very similar, so it's going to be really exciting. I'm very excited for the future, and like we said, a new website a website, not even a new website.
Yeah, a brand spanking new. What did we call it the other day? Digital home. What was it?
Come on, Connor, remind us.
I said it's like your social media is rented space, your website is the real estate you own.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we're getting a mortgage. Diaries of Badass Bosses is getting a mortgage. So very excited by that, but also very sad. But I do want to say a massive thank you for all your help and support and how amazing you've been on the podcast. But as I said, it's not goodbye.
It's not goodbye.
It's just cheerio for now.
And I'm sure that my face will appear at some. I'll worm my way in when I've got when I've got the ability to. So,
well, look. if anyone's got any questions or anything for Tigz that you want to just touch base with her or even just say thanks, feel free to drop a message in the comments below, and we will be back next week at my home with Connor. He's not leaving me.
Nope, I'm here.
There wouldn't be a podcast without you, Connor, I'm going to be honest. If you weren't here, neither would I. So, Connor has to be here. Forced
Willingly.
and chained to the desk. But no, thank you so much. And as always, please join our community and subscribe. And as I say, I will see you back next week for another episode of Diaries of Badass Bosses. Thank you, wonderful Tigz. I love you so much.
I love you too.